really helpful for your bloggers. I'm saying your bloggers, your readers. For me, they happen to be bloggers. You want to keep doing what's fun and most truly helpful, because as you give more attention and energy to that skill, it will multiply for you. So it'll feel really fun, it'll be enjoyable, and then on the worldly level of success, you'll see that things will come together quite nice. So it's a matter of starving or ceasing to do what feels really heavy, what feels really burdensome, what's just not there. Like what you're forcing, what you're really forcing, and ceasing that or weaning yourself off of those activities and giving the lion's share, if not all, but in the beginning, it may be a little bit, then maybe a little bit more of your attention and energy as a blogger to what really feels fun. And you'll see that's what's most truly helpful for the right folks, meaning your targeted readers who could really use your skills at the time. It's simple and it gets easier when you make, from time to time, uncomfortable choices. Now, as a practical example, one of the things that I have a lot of fun with, that I feel intuitively I do fairly well, and that my readers do enjoy. So that's the holy trinity, if you will, on the worldly level. Just a confluence, if you will, is broadcasting live. I have a gift for that. I've honed it to own it. I've practiced, but I will certainly give a decent chunk of my attention and energy to broadcasting live every day. The more I give attention and energy to it, the more it grows as I'm having fun and being more helpful. So I'm spending my time doing this, something I do well and that's helpful for you guys, that helps you as a blogger, empowers you. There's resonance, instead of sitting here and trying to force people to join my list, because most bloggers say list building's everything, the money's in the list. Now, I'm not going against any bloggers out there at all. Please build a list. I have a list. I do. But the point is, you don't try to force things through channels that do not match your gifts, your skills, your talents, and most of all, what feels really fun and where you're truly helpful. So for other bloggers, list building is really fun for them. For some, a lot of people force it because they're doing things robotically, and this is the gist of this video. So they rock it out, but only because they have fun, and it's where they're most truly helpful. My gift is teaching blogging tips through live broadcasts, one of my gifts. So I give more attention and energy to it, and less to list building, and very little list building these days. And it's because this is where I'm most helpful for you guys. It's an aspect of thriving as a blogger, of succeeding, that's important to understand, because it will cause you to take note, take stock of your blogging strategy. Okay. And to look at, well, look at how much I'm doing that I don't want to do. I'm resistant to it. I'm forcing it. I hate it. It feels like work. It feels heavy. And I'm talking about not a little discomfort, but something that just feels completely forced. Like a job that you hate and you don't belong doing it. And then you'll see these little, perhaps, glimmers of fun and what's enjoyable about blogging to you, and where you appear to be helpful, and where readers may be saying, hey, we love these live videos. Keep doing them. Keep it up. And you realize, oh, I should be giving more of my attention and energy to that, to not only develop those skills, but on a worldly level, as a byproduct, you'll see your success will grow through that channel too, because where your attention energy goes grows. So when you're giving it to what's really fun, to where there's real love and true helpfulness, you don't have the resistance to the success. Whereas when you're forcing things, all you're doing is resisting success. So this is why with my advice in my online courses, in my ebooks, through my blog, yes, you want to follow my guidance, but you're not necessarily going to follow everything to a T, just like in any area of life. There has to be that intuitive feel, that gut pull, that guide. So when I suggest live broadcasting or broadcasting live to bring up a lot of your fears and your unconscious stuff and the terror of criticism, and I'll look like a fraud, and what if a critic skewers me on a lot, like that can be very helpful to bring up those fears. But you have to listen to your intuition, your gut, your hunch, which ultimately will guide you either to do that or to do something different that could bring up the fears. So this aspect of blogging is keep doing what feels really fun, what feels really freeing, helpfulness wise, what feels truly helpful, and where you get that strong sense like, oh, this is where everything's going to expand for me. This is a gift. This is something I do well as far as being really helpful for people. And you want to keep giving more of your attention, energy to that. And less to the blogging activities that just feel heavy and that feel like work. And by work, I mean like you're forcing it. We all know, we've all been there, but you have to expand your awareness and get into that space of deeper clarity and a deeper sense of understanding about yourself, your mind, ultimately. And yeah, this gets a little uncomfortable sometimes because you'll see maybe you've been trying to force things through channels that just not truly resonate with you. But then there's a part of your mind, the fear, the ego, that says, no, don't throw it away. You spent so much time, that'll all have been time wasted. Absolutely not. Make the wise decision now, do more of what feels really fun and freeing. Not only is it going to feel awesome, not only are you going to be most helpful, but the byproduct is however it comes together, your worldly success will come together too. And this is why I'm beating the drum, and I know a lot of established bloggers beat the drum, that you really have to do what feels most fun to you versus trying to force things to get results. Because if not, you'll give very little thought to what feels most fun, and you'll try to do the things and force and resistance and pain and struggling and suffering and hard work to get the traffic and money. And in almost every case, it's not going to work. You'll struggle. And even in the cases where it does tend to work, as in what the ego calls it works, I've made a lot of money, got a lot of traffic, got a lot of money, it'll be struggle, straining, striving, forcing, manipulation. It's not the point. The point of blogging is not to suffer. It's not. Don't buy into that. It's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, but you shouldn't be punishing yourself. This is not it. It's not the answer. Look at your blogging strategy and say, gosh, how much have I been punishing myself? How much have I been forcing things? Am I building an asset that works for me? Or am I chasing? Am I chasing? Am I chasing? Look at something like building backlinks. I sell a course. You guys may be familiar. Look at the store tab on bloggingfromparadise.com. Sometimes I link to it. But if you go to bloggingfromparadise.com, which is my blog, go ahead. I'm waiting. No. And you click on the store tab, I sell a course named How to Get Featured on World Famous Blogs. So it guides you step by step how to get the highest quality backlinks. And one of the cool things about it, guys, and this is my mindset, well, largely, is that I teach you how to build a resource so you're not hunting for these links. You're not the hunter, you're the hunted. So they come to you. That's fun. You wake up and instead of sending, stress, force, pushing 50, 100 emails a day to strangers, or sending your 1,000th email, 500th email to Forbes, you wake up and open your email and a contributor from Forbes says, I want to feature you. And that's how I got featured. Contributor from Entrepreneur said, I want to feature you. They came to me. That's a cool feeling. And I'm not talking about from pride or arrogance or vanity, but from I could build something that's helpful, that's fun, and then the success comes to me. It happens only if you're doing what's most fun, where you hone your gifts, where it's most truly helpful, and you don't try to force success through channels that are forced, filled with fear, straining, striving. So this aspect of success, guys, is you want to give more and more attention and energy to what's most fun, to where you're most truly helpful, and less to forced channels. Now, you could do a few things with these forced channels. Number one, you could forgive them or look past them entirely, because when you're cooking with gas, you're going to rock. Like, you need an email list and Google traffic to succeed. That's what the world largely says. Forbes, an entrepreneur, and Neil Patel organically linked to me. And I have a tiny list and almost no Google traffic, although that's increasing. So then you realize, oh, Ryan's broken the paradigm. Well, how did he do it? Look at the topic of this live broadcast. I think very differently than the world in most ways. Some ways I think similarly. Not to be different or to be radical, but by living and doing my best to embody the concept in this live broadcast. If you do what you love, and you get really clear and confident and you relax, the success will follow, even if it's against the straining and striving and the force-filled strategies of the world. So you're thinking, man, I could keep doing what I love doing and trusting my intuition and following these practical tips. That's part of it. I'm not talking about meditating in a room and denying the world or saying, I'm going to sit here and meditate and everything's going to come to me. No, theoretically, good. But just give more attention and energy to what you do well, what's fun, your gifts. Like, let that expand. Give more time to it. Drill down. And your success will come. But the cool part is, too, you'll be having so much fun with the process. You'll begin to understand what these really happy, peaceful, and then, as a byproduct, really rich people in the world mean when they say you really have to follow your passion. They're saying you have to fall so deeply in love with helping people and loving what you do that you almost completely forget about the money. They know what they're talking about. That's why they have hundreds of billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of millions. I'm talking about the peaceful ones. Now, I'm not talking about the folks that want to stick it to people. There's some out there that have manifested a crazy amount of money and they have chaos up here. There are others that have peace and they say, you really got to love what you do. This broadcast, it drills home that point. And my course, like, I pitched 2 people as experiments over the course of my career, and all these high-level bloggers and world-famous publications came to my doorstep. That's passion. You passionately build an asset, it all comes to you. It does. Now, building involves a lot of helping. So it's not that I'm just sitting in a cyber cave or forcing things. I did so much helping over the years to build that up because I love it. And I've gradually just moved more and more towards what I do really well. That's the whole point of blogging. You give more and more attention and energy to what's fun, what's freeing, your passion, your gift. You'll do it more well, better and better, and the success comes together, and then you shed the other stuff. Now, one of the points I was making before I sidetracked was sometimes you'll completely forgive these other activities that feel heavy, that feel really leaden, or you will outsource, which means you will invest money in the skills or expertise of other individuals to handle them. So I've done that mainly through the development side of things, which I've learned more about, and I know basic HTML and the most basic programming, but it's just not for me. So I've worked with a developer to handle that stuff. And this could happen across different channels, blogging wise, development, whatever. But the cool thing is, your mind is so powerful that you can completely forgive that stuff, look past it, and focus on your passion. And the better you get at it, the more fun you're having, the more time, attention, energy you devote to these talents, things will explode over the long haul. It is a long haul gig. When I'm talking about following your passion, I don't mean broadcasting live. If you love broadcasting live for an hour today, and your millions will come in, or 10,000 will come in. Maybe it will. Your 10,000 will. Dollars. I'm talking about patiently falling in love with the process so time slowly becomes irrelevant. And it's because you keep doing what you love doing, and you'll start seeing when you love something, when it's fun, when it's a passion. These entrepreneurs talk about, oh, 12 hours went by and I didn't even realize, and not in a mad, crazy rush. It's because they love what they do. Love is an eternity. And by love, I mean it's the absence of fear, the absence of tension, the absence of forcing. That's why I could be broadcasting for 35 minutes live and it doesn't even feel like a minute. It's because I love it. And then when I've made the mistake of pulling away from that, then it's fear and tension and scarcity. My fault. My ownership. I don't say my fault, but it's happening with me sometimes on an unconscious level, a lot of times in the past. But as I've gotten clearer and say to myself, what are my gifts? What feels really fun for me? What's truly helpful? Where is there some resonance? Or even with that, folks will say, hey, I love it. In the beginning, you may have no folks around because you're starting, so you may not get the feedback. But intuitively, you'll know, like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Yeah, give more and more attention and energy to that as far as your blogging skills. Now, it could be writing and publishing long-form SEO optimized blog posts. It could be broadcasting live. It could be building a list. It could be infographics. It could be a million different things. It could be podcasting. Like, these are your gifts. They're intuitive. They're internal. The more attention, energy you give to those gifts, the more fun this journey will be. It'll be more and more enjoyable. You'll become more skilled, quote unquote, better, more clear, more confident in these areas. And organically, the success will come together, but your mind will be more preoccupied with having fun, helping people with your gifts. So I won't even be thinking about that stuff. That's what those happy, peaceful multimillionaires, billionaires, and I'm just saying them, but it could be anybody, a teacher, a fireman, a policeman, policewoman, firewoman, anybody with anything. Stay-at-home mom. She just loves it. It's her gift. She loves it. She has so much fun doing it. And time just is irrelevant. That's love. You find your gift and you let that expand by choosing to give more and more attention and energy to it. And as a blogger, you want to start cataloging and saying, okay, what feels most fun? What is my gift? And you'll discover it by doing it. You're only going to get this clarity by gaining personal experience, by experimenting. Well, I did this for a bit and it just doesn't feel right. It feels forced. And I did this for a bit and, ooh, this felt fun. We all know it, but you got to experiment. You can't not experiment. A lot of bloggers don't experiment, or they just plow through everything with unconscious fear, calling the shots. So they do things wildly identical, not like. Don't say like. I say like a robot, but let's get clear. Identical to a robot. That will be those bloggers when I open up my LinkedIn, when I open up my Facebook, I open up my Twitter, and I look at my inbox. That's the wild fear and the unconscious robotic. Here, I'm an out blogger actually. So I'm not mocking or condemning these folks, but I'm showing you what happens when you move away from your love, from your passion, from your gift, and you do things wildly and robotically. You're not even human at that point because you're doing things without thinking, from fear, force, and it's just a crap show. It's not fun. It's not a way to live. Like you're not you have an experience to email or message 1,000 strangers a day. You think that's an existence? And I'm not being funny, I'm being honest. Like ask yourself, oh wait a second. Am I here to develop my gifts and have fun? Or you come up. Oh, uh-oh. Or email 1,000 random strangers wildly and panicked and greedily and desperately. And those are the emotions. And it's unconscious. You're not even thinking about it. If you started thinking for 10 seconds, for 1 minute, you'd be like, what the hell am I doing? You'd literally say that to yourself, like, what am I doing? I feel like I'm being a dummy pushed around. I feel like a robot. You are. When you do things unconsciously, you're a robot. You're not human. It's programming. So this broadcast helps you to see maybe it's time to start developing my gifts and gaining experience, choosing to gain experience, to experiment and to see, yeah, this is fun. I'm having a blast here. I'm going to let it ride. That's where your greatest peace is, which is ultimately what you want. And then on the worldly level, you'll find the more you allow this to expand, you'll be more lost in the process, but your success will accelerate in its own way. You're really going to have to keep at it. And it'll get uncomfortable sometimes because fear in your mind and your unconscious coming up will try to scare you away from your gifts into survival mode. Oh, it'll try. This is the ego. So you sit with the fear, you feel it, it's unpleasant, then you forgive it, look past it. Forgiving means looking past. It doesn't mean noticing. You feel the fear and then you don't stay. You felt it and you look past it after you feel it and on you go. You be a passerby mentally, just like everything in this world. Be a passerby. Don't get caught up in this world. It's an illusion. Everything falls apart. You get caught up in something that falls apart, you'll be very unhappy. You'll be depressed. You'll be angry. You'll be scared. Got to be a passerby mentally. So this is beautiful, guys. This works. This concept works so well when you focus on your gifts and you start realizing, oh, this feels really fun. And I feel like I'm being helpful. And even before people show up in your mind, you just know, like, if I keep doing this and I keep having fun and I keep developing these skills, I know people will, but it's really not about the people. And I know success will come, but it's not really about the success. And yeah, that's nice. But you'll start to get like, oh, now I get why all these peaceful, relaxed entrepreneurs who've had worldly success say you got to be passionate about it. What they're saying is hone your gifts and own them. Be truly helpful. Have fun helping people. That's the whole point of business and life. Like there's no other point. It's not to accumulate. It's not to stack up. That's okay. But a lot of these people you see too, they have the attitude. Look at the people that are so passionate about building business and service. Like don't even think about the money. Largely. They're just like, we're going to focus and build this thing. And then down the road, I know it'll come together. Like watching Jeff Bezos the beginning the other day, he's taking on all this money from investors. And I know it's part of it when I say he doesn't think about it, but he's like, we plan to be profitable in 20 years. So he wasn't thinking about how we doing today. He wasn't thinking about how we doing 5 minutes down the road. He's like, we will be a profitable business in 2 decades. That has to be passion. If it were money, he would have quit 5 minutes in. You ever thought about that? Right? Or Jeff Bezos, when he sells PayPal, or not Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and he takes all of whatever the number is, it's 70 million, 90 million, 100 million. It's irrelevant at that point. It wasn't $10. So let's say he took 100 million. I've seen the number jump around, but it doesn't matter. He took $100 million and he put everything into the next businesses. And by everything, and it shows you how much he thinks about passion and how little on a level with business that he even thinks about money and cares about it. He missed rent. Like, the world is so unconsciously mired in fear and scarcity and runs away from their gifts, their talents, being truly helpful, the passion, the love, the thing that keeps you going. They're terrified to lose $30 or to owe $30 on their credit card for a month. Like, think of that level of scarcity, absolutely terrified. And they're just forcing and pushing and straining and striving. And this is a mind that takes $100 million and invests it immediately into other businesses because that's his passion, his love, how he's most truly helpful. And he invested so much of it, like almost all of it really, basically, where he came up short on rent for a month. And he had to ask a friend for rent money. Like, think about that. He didn't even say, I'm going to leave $1 million in my savings. He took it all. That's someone who has the highest level, like Bezos. And the ones who have the least fear of money, I think about at least, that have the business minds, they accumulate the most. And it's not about the accumulation. They'll tell you, look at Warren Buffett. It's the gift. Think about these minds. Look at them very closely and think about the topic in this video. And you'll begin to discover one of the real secrets to happiness and peace and fun and freedom as far as an internal mindset thing. And then as a byproduct, worldly success, as a very inconsequential byproduct. You'll have your success. You'll have your money. You'll have that over the long haul. And it's not going to come on a conscious level in a lot of instances. It's going to be happening all in the unconscious. And you're going to have to start looking at yourself and like, oh my goodness, been running away from my gifts, how I'm most truly helpful my blog, and I'm trying to force it through my list and through Google, and you'll see these things that you do well, these gifts, and you'll be like, why the heck am I running away from them? Because you're afraid. But this live broadcast is the reminder to say, okay, now it's time to go all in on that. Not from a place of greed or desperation or fear or delusion, but from that realization that if I keep doing what I love doing, what's most helpful, where I have my love, my passion, and I give more and more attention, energy to that's going to expand. And as that expands, it'll be even more fun. That's my gift, or one of my gifts. And the worldly success will follow, but you'll get more lost in the process of helping people. And that's really where it's at, because we all want peace of mind more than anything. We just want peace of mind. You think I need money? You're like, I want peace. I want support. I want the peace of support. I want traffic. I want the peace of support. I want people to be around. I want the peace of connection. It's always peace. You only want peace. You only want the mental state of peace of mind. Don't be tricked by the world. And they'll say, yeah, but if I had you want the peace. And this is one practical way to find that peace as you're operating or appearing to be operating the world. To take your gifts, to hone them, to own them, and just make a catalog. Like, what feels really fun to do with my blogging strategy? What feels most fun? Don't be distracted. Don't be pulled to the side by your fears. Don't let what appears to be others pull you away from that. People telling you, oh, you're wasting your time. And just don't let that fear projection pull you away from your gift. Just keep moving towards the gift and you'll develop more peace. It'll be more fun. It'll be more freeing. And then the byproduct is down the road as you keep developing these gifts and honing and owning. So yeah, it could be broadcasting live. It could be writing and optimizing blog posts, building a list. It could be social media marketing. It could be, even though I'm really big on creating new, fresh, unique content on social, for you, it actually could be engaging heavily, but again, not from an energy of scarcity or fear or forcing, but just from, it's my gift. I have the gift of gab and chatting and going back and forth and matchmaking. Could be it for you. Or it could just be going full out 1,000 miles an hour forward. I shouldn't say 1,000 because there's a peaceful state of mind, but creating new, fresh, unique content on social daily and doing it consistently, being really prolific, like really putting it out there. It's always got to come from a more peaceful state. This never comes from force and rushing or hurrying, because force is fear, rushing is fear, hurrying is fear. And when you move into fear as your driver, you move away from love. When you move into fear, you move into survival mode. You move away from your gifts. When you move into fear, you think, I need this to survive. And you move away from, how could I be truly helpful for others? If you want peace, which is what we only want, that's what we want. We want the worldly stuff. It all comes from that, because everything is forthcoming when you have the peaceful mind. And one of the ways to mine that peace is to say, okay, these are my blogging gifts. This is my gift. These are my gifts. I'm going to give more attention, energy to these things I love doing. And I feel the helpfulness, and I'm seeing it being reflected. Or maybe I have no readers yet, but I just know intuitively, like, this is fun. This is helpful. And you develop those skills and you move away from the force-filled stuff. And again, you could forgive it entirely or look past that stuff. Or if it's something that you still believe is quite necessary, invest money in someone else to handle it, hire someone to handle it. And that's okay. And that's it. So guys, about a half hour in. Yeah, we're over a half hour. Thanks so much for joining. As a call to action, you could stop by bloggingfromparadise.com. I offer blog posts to guide you on your journey, smart blogging tips. And if you click on the store tab, I have these things called ebooks that I sell. And this one course there, that's the one I'm really focusing on as a promotional tool, promotional angle. It's called How to Get Featured on World Famous Blogs. So it guides you step by step to get really high quality backlinks, which is cool. And again, it's focused on being really helpful. High quality backlinks can be very beneficial. Of course, at its core, you're going to be helping a lot more people who are interested in what you're doing. And I created this course after a number of years back. Bloggers are telling me, Ryan, get me on Forbes. How'd you get featured on Forbes? And I created it like anything I create because I achieved it. Like, that's what I do on my blog. So I got backlinks from Forbes, Entrepreneur, since been removed, but I used to have backlinks from Fox News and HuffPost and Richard Branson's Virgin blog, Paz, Neil Patel. So like, I'm getting these backlinks and I put into the course, that's how I did it, how you do it. And how other successful bloggers have done it. ProBlogger. So to empower, inspire. And then I also sell a couple ebooks there if you click on the store tab at bloggingfromparadise.com. And just in-depth, thorough. This is what the customers tell me, like the people who buy them, they give me this feedback and I put my heart and soul into everything I do. It's what I do. I love you guys. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Signing off from a very sunny New England, and spoiler alert, within the week, we're going to be going somewhere. Blogging from Paradise is my wife, Kelly, and I, unless you're on a different blog, livelikemydaughter.com. A bit sunnier and a bit warmer than New England. So keep an eye out. That'll be within the week, and you'll see we're on the way. You'll love the location. It's a Blogging from Paradise tropical special. It's a really cool place. One of our favorite places in the world. So international location. We'll be there soon. Love you guys. Until next time, enjoy Paradise all.